Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Metroid Prime Randomizer Tournament of 2021. We are in the winners' side brackets, semi-finals. The match is between gunert and Dinopony. Joining me for commentary, we've got Baha Blood. How you doing, Baha?
I'm doing well. How are you today?
I'm doing very well. Considering it's a race in my natural time zone, I've only been up for an hour.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. So it looks like we're underway in race time, so should be getting going here in just 1 minute. No runners agreements to report today, so we'll be getting the landing site start, vanilla elevators, and infinite speed is not allowed.
Yep. We've got Gollop tracking for us today as well. Pressing all the buttons, clicking on all the item pickups.
Yeah, appreciate that. And yeah, these are two good runners. We're looking forward to a good match here. Both are undefeated so far in the bracket stage. The winner will advance to the grand finals. Loser will be facing the winner of the losers bracket in a chance for a rematch. So, should be pretty exciting.
Yep. I'm obviously rooting for my homeboy in the EU side. I would like to see Dino take it into the kind of finals brackets. But Gunner kicked my ass in Swiss, so it's not exactly an easy matchup. This should be a very good race to
Yeah,
look out for.
Gunnar was 2-0 against me in this tournament. Took me out a couple times here.
Right, so SGF, space jump first, and Gunner slides off the ship. Dino gets it nicely.
Yeah, both runners going for the scan dashes across the platform. Oh, super missiles is the first time. That's a bit interesting. Doesn't immediately open anything for us, but will give us the tree right away and is a pretty effective combat tool.
Yep. It's nice to see supers, because supers is like one of those items that is not guaranteed to be required for the seed, but as a combat item, it just makes life a lot easier.
Yeah, especially the exo fight is much more painful without super missiles.
Yeah.
Yeah, without any missiles, we will be forced into Chozo here. We'll find something on the Hive Mecha to let us make more checks. Could be a number of things, though.
Yep, so we could either see some Morph Ball, because it could be Missile Launcher behind the ship. I don't know if either of the players actually scanned it to see if that was. We could see Space Jump, with Missile Launcher being in the half pipe, or anywhere in Main Plaza, really, at that point.
Looks like 2 missile expansions and an E-tank in Main Plaza here. Nothing too exciting, although the first E-tank is always nice to find.
Yeah. Oh, Dino taking a bit of a...
Yeah, these lasers can... Ooh, down to 12 health already. Just a couple taps from a beetle or a wasp will take him out at this point. Another E-tank in nursery. Probably won't come back for that. Although could maybe pick it up when they come back for the Ruined Gallery Tunnel, if they come back for it.
It's one of those kind of checks that feels so slow to get, especially for an E-tank, so fingers crossed they find E-tanks elsewhere.
Mm-hmm. Looks like we got Vanilla Missile Launcher today. What's behind it? It's Spider Ball. Okay.
Spider's interesting.
Spider and Supers is our first couple items.
Oh, that is bad. That is a bad recipe.
We'll need bombs before we have to start thinking about Floggering Ghosts too hard, but that is a scary early prospect here.
We still need to find Morph Ball, though,
as well,
before that fully turns on. But that's probably not going to be too far. Like, Morph Ball is probably going to be in the tree, I think. Or it could be vanilla as well.
Could even be just sitting in Artifact Temple.
Yes. Now it looks like Gunner is going for that save warp back to start. Ooh, Dino looks as if it's been...
So gunert makes the save here, so can check artifact hints, and if it's not morph ball, could just choose to reset back to Chozo to continue searching the Chozo checks that it morph ball could be.
Ah, there we go. And the resumes back on us.
Get a great look at the tree. I saw some orange, but I'm not sure if that was no, it must have been a missile, because I imagine if it was a power bomb expansion, Dinopony would have gone for it.
Yeah, looking back at the main feed for SG, I think it was the orange glow of a missile. So a little bit of diversion between the two runners. Seems Vanilla Morph Ball was not what we were expecting.
Yeah, personally, I kind of like the play to stay in Chozo. This is a little awkward, especially if this item is something you want, because you're going to isolate some other checks here in Talon without that Morph Ball. Yeah. I guess it's really just for good crash site.
I think, on reflection, I think gunert might be making the right play here, on the simple basis that if you do not find...
Always
those are not good. If you don't find Morph Ball at the vanilla location, you can't really go anywhere else without Space Jump, really. So I think the warp back might have actually been the better of the plays.
Yeah, maybe. So, yeah, we haven't brought it anywhere, so it looks like both runs are going to be... Dino really needs a missile drop here. I'm not going to be able to get through this door here. Yep, has to turn around, unfortunately.
Yep. They will be high-fiving ever so shortly.
And of course getting nothing but energy drops. I believe that was MQA, was one of the artifacts.
Yeah, so I think we have Elite Research, MQ A or B, Phaser Mining Tunnel. I don't think it was an Elite Quartz, I think it was just Research. We have a Furnace check, so that could be upper or lower, but we have Spider, so that's available to us regardless.
Alright, there's our Morph Ball, Transport Tunnel B.
So, with this situation, finding Morph Ball down there and having your Various suit, would you be climbing back up to go to Chozo? Or would you route the loop in Magmoor?
That's a tough call. I hate these kinds of seeds where bombs can be in Chozo or Magmar.
Yeah, because the thing that I've always kind of tried to remind myself is that if I had Space Jump, then Magmoor is a lot easier to route because you can do a lot more checks. Whereas without Space Jump and no bombs, the only item you can actually get is Storage Cavern.
Yeah, and that's a long trip if you don't get Morph Ball bombs there or main power bombs, because you can't carry that through into Lava Lake without some sort of explosives. So yeah, I think I agree with kind of last locationing it. There is the option of making a Lava Lake dip, but that's also a relatively slow check here as well, given that we have to do the Hive Mecha loop forwards again just to get there without having Space Jump to climb up Bolt side.
Yeah, I would try and bundle that check in when you do your Flagra, so you can fall off the back of Flagra and then just go straight down.
Mm-hmm. But it is possible the bombs are just chilling in Lava Lake, which would be nearly worst case here, honestly.
I don't know if we've seen that at all this tournament. Just a Lava Lake bomb seed.
Yeah, it's pretty rude. We're gonna roll press on into mid Chozo here. I think that's a pretty reasonable play.
Mm-hmm. Oh, jeez. Yeah, so we're looking most likely to go towards Zoid at this stage, Watery Hall kind of area. We could have...
Sorry, go ahead.
We could have vanilla bombs. That is quite a common occurrence.
Yeah, it has been
in
happening
these
quite a bit.
seeds.
So it looked like
So
Gunnar didn't look at the Rune Fountain item at all. So I didn't see it at all, and it didn't look like he even looked in that direction while in the room at all.
No, I think he just scan dash past it and just. I definitely would have took the visual on it, especially the fact you have spiders, so you just need a space jump.
Yeah, there is an
To
NSJ
shoot it.
method to get that with just spider, but it's not fun.
Nah. So Dino dropped down, grabbed Morph Ball, and is returning to Chozo very much the same as Gunner.
And unfortunately, without explosives, yep, can't make any progress into Dynamo here. I'm pretty low on health here getting out of this acid. Yeah, Dino will give us a look at our hints here. Fungal Hall Access and Arbor Chamber were the missing two.
So Gunner has a very awkward decision-making point here. So taking this save, Gunner is probably going to do Zoid, checking for Vanilla. However, I think the Lava Lake Bombs is actually quite real. Because that could be what the Varia suit is trying to push us to.
Yeah, this is really tough. We have like 3 options: Storage Cavern, Lava Lake, and Vanilla, and they are all really slow to check at this point. So if you guess wrong, and particularly if you guess wrong twice, that's a huge amount of time loss.
Yeah. Just a missile on Ruined Fountain. And Dino done a wee check of it.
Alright, I'm going to need to step away for just a minute here. Let's leave you in TGC's hands.
Oh no! So it looks like Gunner may be doing the Lava Lake play. So it looks like Gunner is processing the Varia suit is leading to something, so Lava Lake may be the go-to. Now, thinking on it, we can technically have bombs in Frigate Crash Site. We recently picked up Grapple Beam. Grapple Beam is one of the vanilla methods to get the Frigate Crash Site item. We have missiles, we have Morph Ball, so our bombs could be there. Yeah, having multiple artifacts in mines is not a terrible thing. PMT being an artifact is the problem with that, yeah. Because you cannot just easily route all the way back to MQB and take the save warp out. You actually need to find your Phazon suit. So supers were in the space jump location, Alcove. Spider was behind Hive Mecha. And Varia was in Artifact Temple. Oh, is Dino going for a save warp? Nope. Right then, so Dino is making the other play of going to Vanilla Bombs. So we're having a route divergence here. So this is what me and Baha were talking about, how you have 3 really not good checks that if you take the wrong one or go to the wrong direction, you put yourself behind. Dino's going for the Vanilla Bombs. This is still information though. The Vanilla Bombs check is actually quite a good one. In the sense that you can get information and you can actually choose to skip this at a later point. Gunner is doing the Lava Lake play, banking on that Varia suit being the required artifact check. So we shall see what happens here. Oh, and it's Space Jump and Lava Lake. That's a nifty one. So Gunner gets their movement. So to me, it still seems that Frigate Crash Site is probably the goal. It's probably the right choice.
Alright, I'm back. So I did catch that space jump in lava lake. That's pretty rude.
Yeah. So one of the things I was thinking, it's possible that bombs are in Frigate Crash Site because of the grapple, because that would logically put it into place.
Oh, that's a good point. The space jump also gave us Upper Ruined Shrine.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think if it did anything else for us. Maybe not.
No, not at this stage. It's just a missile in Watery Hall, so lower, so the slope jump doesn't do us anything.
Grapple does put Frigate Crash Site in logic, yes, on its own.
I think grapple is like the trivial option for that. So that's like one of the vanilla intended.
Could still see vanilla. Oh no, that's unfortunate for Dinopony.
There's a reset, yeah.
And can't even check behind, so we won't even know if Zoid is required after all, if the item happened to be behind.
We've just got a lone Metroid contained in the vault to be protected for all time, which is good. So this reset for Dino could be interesting, because if Dino takes the save warp back to Frigate Crash Site... Oh.
Wave beam, interesting.
Bombs in Tower Chamber?
Bombs in Quarantine Monitor?
Don't do that to me. I don't think we've seen much in the way of
thermal
TARDIS.
in Quarantine Monitor and bombs on TARDIS. There we go.
We do have training chamber access as well, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wave beam just opens surprisingly a good few checks in Chozo. So this Frigate Crash Site check for Dino is actually quite interesting, because if this is bombs, this gives Dino the option of routing through Magma or full clear to an extent, which means he should hopefully get space jump, so long as they don't do the dip into Findrana, I guess.
But just
never mind. We got ourselves some Flamin' Werfer. Exactly what you want.
Oh, and now that Dinopony's here, I wonder if the storage cavern play starts to look more appealing than Lava Lake first, which would be even more of a setback, unless storage cavern happens to be something good.
Yep, so Gunert going in for the training chamber check. Yep, it looks like Dino is definitely going into Magma from here. Gravity.
Interesting.
We are an ice beam away from seeing bombs and cargo freight. That I want to see. Because that is horrible.
It would logically need thermal as well, but that would be pretty good. I mean, we could actually see bombs in Biohazard at that point.
Yeah, true. Bombs in Biohazard, oofed. Yep, so it looks like Dino is on the right path to finding the other parts of this interesting puzzle.
Yeah, just unfortunate we'll be having to do Magmore without Space Jump. Just nothing in Lower Fiery Shores.
Yep.
Also feels bad coming through here without a power bomb either. Not be able to. And we can look at shore tunnel.
Yeah. The 1E tank, or the no-E tanks, makes it very sketchy as well.
Actually, with neither bombs nor space jump, I don't think there's any way to get to Warrior Shrine.
So, yeah, for Dino's only logical check in this direction is Storage Cavern. Gunert does have access to the back of Magma. Can get to Workstation. I can never remember if the visor puts Workstation into logic or if it is not required.
Thermal is required for the workstation check, yeah.
Is it? Yeah. So yeah, Cubon is probably the only logical check in that direction.
Yeah, I don't think we missed anything else in Chozo. Although Gunner could still believe that it's vanilla bombs as well.
True. Right, so wasn't vanilla, wasn't storage cavern. Yeah, and Gunner made the right play, the lava lake one, because I think that space jump into maybe gravity suit into far magma, I think, is our requirement here.
Actually, I wonder, like, could this be a seed where, like, bombs are somewhere in the shorelines area, and you're expected to find thermal and fight Thardus to get access to it?
Could, yeah. Open Thardus as a corridor. Yeah, that could be possible.
So I'm going to do the auto logic check here without X-ray. But we'll be able to see what root cave is, and if Gunner goes for the out of bounds, can get an early artifact here too.
Yeah.
And looks like he's going to go for it. Do have to be careful. Hard to fix this if you mess it up a little bit without bombs. Yeah, Gunner being conservative there, understandably, but unfortunately that leads to a fall. And
this isn't a terrible one, at least.
Yeah.
Arbor chamber out of bombs. Definitely. I really do not like doing that check without bombs, especially in a race. Like, I need the security to make sure I do it first time. It's either first time or no times for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
but
so
it is very close to the ship, so it's pretty easy to go pick that up at the end of the game.
Yeah.
At least enough time. Not getting that right now.
So Dino is off to get a space jump, where Gunner is off to check storage cavern, I guess.
Yep, source cavern.
Can get can get warrior shrine out of logic.
True. Yep.
And can get Triclops pit out of logic technically, but we know that's a missile.
Yeah, starting to look like something's going to be on quarantine monitor.
Oh, Asda. That is a fantastic joke. The layers to that are great. Yeah, so Dino going into the lovely magma. Gonna get some booties. By far one of the two best items in this game.
And so yeah, I would expect to see Gunner head back to Far Magmore at this point. Nothing else for it.
Yeah, so nothing too much found on Gunner's journeys.
God, Just keep going.
Ooh, this is nice. Dino just taking the immediate save warp, potentially. Oh, no. No.
It's good to go this way. It doesn't need to find that wave beam in Chozo.
True.
Probably is going to end up copying all of Gunnert's checks. I think, given that wave beam location, it kind of makes sense to do everything in the order Gunnert did. So I'm going to guess that Dino's just going to be kind of catching up here.
Yeah. And it's looking more realistic that progression is at quarantine monitor at this stage.
Yeah, that's the only check I can think of that's accessible right now.
Yeah.
God, I really hope it's thermal. That would be so fun. No bombs, no boost, Thardus, no PBs, no plasma.
Yep.
Good content.
Like, Boost Ball doesn't get us anything. Power Bombs does open a bunch of checks. Power Bombs is probably the more interesting one to see because it opens up a bunch of checks in Chozo. That we can go back and potentially get this bombs and biohazard shenanigans on the go. But no, it's most likely we're going to see Thermal there with a check on Thardus.
I think it is reasonably likely that bombs or power bombs are there too. What else could it be? That's about it, I think. Yeah, I don't think boost does us anything. Phazon doesn't do us anything.
Ice.
Ice could
Does
be
actually.
ice. Yep, could be
Yeah,
ice.
ice does something, especially with the gravity.
Actually, wait. Does ice do us any good?
Ice gets us to transport access. Yeah, we can.
Oh,
We can get to. We can get out to Far Chozo logically. We can get to Far Findrana.
That's a good point.
Which
Yeah, and
opens
my
up
gravity suit also kind of nudging or kind of hinting in that direction, like something might be in Farfindrona.
Yeah. So we could see an ice at Cumon, and that gives Gunner a ton of checks. Going for the safety save. But no, this is very interesting with the way this seed is shaping up, because as you said, we could logically have a out the front door Thardus into Fendrana expectation.
Yeah, getting some pretty interesting seeds here, especially if we end up with a really late bomb seed after the the wild Novaria seed that we had just the other day.
I would have loved to have seen your face when you done your TTA VMR check, just to find that was Varia, just to go, eh?
Yeah, it was pretty weird. Oh, okay, there's our bombs.
Okay. Back we go.
So Shortline's just in Logic now. Yeah, we do have a lot of stuff in Chozo too. Yeah, good. That's tough, honestly. Thardus sucks, but
Yep.
you could do it and get into Shoreline's area quicker this way.
Yeah, I think routing-wise, doing Thardus and clearing the front of Frindran and coming out the front is actually really strong. It feels bad to have to do Thardus. But I think rather than walking all the way round to get to the front of Findrana and come back in is kind of eh.
Yeah, that's tough for me. I would struggle with that decision, I think. Thardus is slow, but it does save you time and could be something useful too.
Yeah. Especially Thardus is super slow because you've got no plasma, you've got no power bombs, you've got no visor. You are doing it on the bare minimum tools. You do have supers, but with, 20 missiles, I think? 40 missiles on gunner. It's still a bit.
Yeah, that's enough if all your shots land, but Thardus does like to kind of block your super missile shots.
But it looks like gunner is probably going for Arbor Chamber again.
Looks like
now
it.
with bombs. And then could take this routing into Fendrana. And there's Dino is doing the cleanup on the Chozo checks with that wave beam.
So that's interesting. I don't know how I feel about once you've save warped. I don't know how I feel about going back to Fendrana versus going back into Chozo. I'm curious to see which way Gunner goes. Because everything we've found so far was required to get those bombs, which means like pretty much all bomb checks are equal at this point, and there's a lot of easy ones in Chozo. And yeah, Gunner is going to head back that way. I agree with this. I think.
Yeah, I think going in and cleaning up Chozo is probably the right play. Because you've got the tools to do almost, 80% of it. We now have logical access to Spider, Plant, Flagra, with that Spider.
And your Fendrana routing is so much cleaner when you have Ice Beam as you head in. And Ice Beam could I think is about even to be in Shorelines or Chozo at this point. Maybe slightly even more likely to be in Chozo.
Now, looking at our tools, supers still haven't actually led to anything. Gravity hasn't led to anything yet. Though technically, gravity is a logical access to the back of Magma, weirdly. His Gunner's mouse cursor on logic. Yeah, I noticed that as well. Yep, so it looks like Dino is going for Arbor Chamber as well, or at least a Root Cave check.
Alright, so you have one E-Tech. Do you go for this Ruined Nursery one? Gunner says no.
I would say no. Like, on the basis that you need to go into deep mines, the chances are you'll probably find a good chunk of E-tanks along the way. But then again, I guess you're going into mines.
Well, there's one, so that makes that decision much
a lot easier,
more palatable. Yep.
That tunnel always has something good, always. And in this case, it was an E-tank in the second.
Alright, Dino is heading far Magmar here, so that's we'll be finding those bombs.
Yep. So this could kind of even up a little bit time-wise, because Dino has done Zoid check. Sadly hasn't checked what's behind Zoid, but at least has a bit of info and could take the risky decision to skip the behind Zoid check. Gunner not going for plant, but it's heading straight for the artifact and furnace. It was furnace, sorry, so Dynamo we don't actually know anything about.
Yeah, I feel like I would do everything but plant, and then think real long and hard about doing it before leaving Chozo if I didn't find Ice Beam before then.
I like the idea of routing up the back of plant, doing ghosts, and then skipping over the gate back into Arboretum, because you've already done your training chamber stuff.
Just a pair of missiles in Dynamo today.
Yeah. So training chamber access was gravity suit, so both players have ticked that off already, thankfully. And we know that training chamber itself is an E-tank, so the only check there is the powerbomb wall check, which we cannot do yet. And no infinite speed has been agreed, so they do need a powerbomb for that.
Yep, Dino's going to be presented with the same choice here. How do you route after finding these bombs? It is also looking like it's going to leave, yep.
It's a very difficult decision because that Thardus play is super, super cool, I think, actually, in this situation.
Oh, I think he's he thought about it. Thought about turning around there.
So we're back to see the real Flammenwerfer in action here. It's kind of weird, right? When you think about Zoid, Zoid was probably installed here to deal with the wasp infestation and has got lazy at its job because the wasps are still infested the place and it doesn't activate until you walk in.
It is kind of weird.
So that powerbomb that Gunert got from behind Zoid is extremely big. Doesn't put them in logic, but it can give some early checks and information.
Yep, it'll let us get at lower fiery shore, or the upper fiery shores item, sorry. And then yeah, having the power bomb makes mine routing possible, even without finding the mains.
So it looks like we are getting further diversion here. Gunner obviously going back into Chozo. It looks like Dino is going for the front of Fendrana.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I think whoever finds Ice Beam will be in decent shape here. And it's hard to tell which region it's going to be in.
At least Gunner is kind of following the artifact trail a bit.
Yep, we'll find an artifact here.
Mains add 4 power bombs. The expansions only give 1. Yeah. And we're getting some new checks from Dino. Lower furnace is just a missile, which means the artifact is up in the tracks.
Luckily with Space Jump and Spider and Bombs, it's pretty easy to pick up.
This room is terrible to do when you've activated the ghost layer on console because it becomes far too dark.
Oh yeah.
I think it's like one of my least favourite checks in the 100% route, just because I can't see anything.
Yeah, it's up there. Alright, so what do we have in Shorelines? A Wave Buster behind the ice, where it will probably remain.
Yep.
Didn't get to look at the lighthouse. We might get another chance when heading for the Chapel of the Elders area.
Lighthouse probably has something because of the speedrun supers. Because it could be that that is what the supers are potentially like hinting towards. because they are still unused as a first item get.
Ooh, that's a good find for Dino.
Yep.
Both runners now have access to a power bomb. Would love to find more. Having only one ammo is pretty not great. Cannot always rely on getting dropped when you need them.
Still couldn't see what was in Lighthouse. Oh, just a distraction.
So Gunner not sinking the cutscenes here. Wonder if he's going to go for the bomb jump here. Nope.
I find it weird how some people go for the overlap on the initial bomb slot that activates them, and some other people go for the overlap on the coloured bomb slots. So you do get kind of like variation from some of the players.
Mm-hmm.
So, is Mama Shegoth holding something for us today?
Let's see. Nope.
Yep, just a missile.
And do we have Vanilla Ice Beam?
A second seed in a row. Be scary. No, it's not.
It's been happening a lot recently. No, not today.
Nah. So this suggests that Dino is on the right path then, because everything that Gunert has essentially done has led to an artifact, and that's it.
Yeah, unless it's just sitting on plant.
Yeah.
But looks like Gunner is not going to bother with plants, so maybe following into Fenderana here.
Fenderana Canyon tends to have something good.
Yep, especially if you're still on the hunt for wave beam. It's a very common wave beam location.
Could be Vanilla Boost Ball as well.
But not today.
So the only check we've got left is Courtyard.
Yep, we do have logical access to Hydra as well.
Ooh, we
but
do have
logically
Hydra.
can't go past without Boost Ball.
Yeah.
Getting a leg up from the Shegoth there. Another PB expansion, but not obtainable.
Nice vanilla PB. So Gunner does have access to upper fiery shores on this route because of the power bomb pickup.
True. Still not in logic yet, but it's a decent check just to get out of the way.
Yeah, it's worth isolating that one. But this is slowly shaping up to be a plant requirement. Because Dino is getting to the stage of only having one check left.
It'd be interesting if it was like Boost Ball on plant. And that was something that you could skip here with the Observatory Dash.
Mm. Yep, I'm gonna going for upper fiery shores.
We have seen Workstation and Quarantine Monitor. We have not seen TARDIS. Bombs were actually in Quarantine Monitor today. Not the best spot.
Labs
Gunner has done everything in Chozo that isn't ice locked, and Dano's done everything in Drana except for Labs, or except for Flagra. Gunner didn't do Flagra.
Yeah. So we're getting to the stage that it's either Hydra or Flagra / Ghosts at this point for our progressive item. The worst case scenario is boost on plant, meaning back of labs is logical.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see Dino just go all the way through labs here, even knowing it's going to be out of logic after this first check.
Yeah. It's nice to do just to kind of get it out of the way, go do all those checks.
No, Flagra has something. Flagra
Yeah.
Ghost.
Which makes sense for the supers that we got at the very beginning of the game. It was our first item.
So this is actually probably pretty good for Dino then, particularly if it chooses to do Flagra before full clearing the rest of Chozo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dino has the option, or well, the possibility of pulling ahead. Gunner could still take it back, doing a kind of process of elimination. Could get to Hydra and then go, right, the rest of this isn't logical, meaning the missing puzzle piece is back on plant. But personally, I think just clearing all of these labs checks is probably the way to go.
I agree. I think even knowing Flagra has something, I think you want to hedge against it having boost, because that will pretty much just force you right back here.
Plus, you get the information to know that if you find something here, you know that was logically locked behind boost. So if your ice beam is here, then you know you guarantee that it's boost on plant at that point, or ghosts.
Oh god, that's true. Yeah, plant could have thermal.
Yes. Plant could also be plasma actually, because there is the Chozo Ice Temple check here.
That's true. Yep. We're getting trolled a little bit by this bomb puzzle.
I wonder what's an Aether.
There's...
Just see it in the floor.
Yeah, the main PBs are not the best. Is oh, you have to backtrack this way, anyways, right? Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Unless you could just save warp out. You could just reset it if you took a save at the beginning, at the front of Chozo.
Yeah, I think I'd be willing to
Labs.
walk back to Observatory to keep 4 power bombs, though. No, Dino disagrees.
This is faster.
It is faster.
Giving up main power bombs is probably one of the worst feelings, though.
Yeah, it's such a kind of crapshoot. Like, it could save you time, or you could waste way more time than this trying to farm for drops and phase on mines at some point.
Yeah.
So it's hard to know if that will end up being a time save or a time loss. Yeah, with 2 PBs at least, it's more cushy to do that. With 1, that'd be a pretty tough sell.
So, Dino probably going to take this save warp, maybe? Yep. And then basically has Chozo to clear. And this will put Dino a little bit ahead with that information.
I think it depends on how quickly he does plant, though. Like, if he goes all the way to vanilla ice before plant, then I think gunert can probably make it back to plant around or at the same time, or maybe even a bit faster.
So, one of the things you could do is you could brainstorm the logical expectation here that plant has boost. Boost leads to PBs, and then all of your PB stuff is in check. So you could skip plant on that basis and just theorize that PBs is your logical kind of step forward.
What do PBs open for us, though? I don't think they do us any
Magma pool. But I can't remember if Gunner actually checked Magma pool. So there is some interesting options.
I didn't realize Dino hadn't been back this way. Oh. Never mind. Has done Tower Chamber. I was going to be surprised if Dino didn't before leaving here, but yeah.
I believe when Dino was here, he didn't have bombs at the time. Because Dino done the return to Chozo as Gunner was heading to the back of Indrana.
So yeah, big decision here. Once Dino gets this, oh, he's going to go for the C-Tech. So we have different opinions on whether the second E-Tech is worth it. And then we'll also shortly get his third. Might start to feel a little regretful about spending that couple seconds. Yeah, this is the best time to do reverse flagger if you're going to do it, once you finish this gallery check.
Yeah.
See if Dino goes for it or not.
With a PB, you could try and get at least one of the doubles.
Yeah, I still have never pulled that straight off. Need to figure out the lineup more.
Yep. Getting sticky. Yeah, the doubles a real good strategist to kind of fast, like speed up the backwards flagger fight.
Yeah, it saves so much time. So normally a cutscene plays every time you blow up a bomb slot, but if you have a well-positioned power bomb, you can hit two of them at once, and it will still only play one cutscene. In fact, if you blow up the last two, it won't play any cutscene at all.
Yeah, you just need to trigger the beginning of the fight, which then can be skipped into the death cutscene for Flagra.
Alright, yeah, this will put Dino ahead, unless... I mean, if this is thermal, I feel like I still do the rest of Chozo here, but if this is ice, this starts to look pretty good.
Yeah. But even still, I think this allows Dino to process everything that's going on in the seed. It gives information regardless.
Mm-hmm.
So, maybe worth switching over to Dino's audio, because we've seen all of Fendrana at this point. We're going into the big fight. Gonna do some bonsai planting. Clipping some of those stray little bits of branch.
Yeah, with Reverse Flagra, the soundtrack only having about 30 seconds of time actually works out pretty well. Won't need to listen to it very long here, because by the time we start the fight, it will be over. That mean power bombs. So good.
I really want.
Keep them or not.
I really want to make a Plando where every single item is just a main power bomb model, so you just see that glow everywhere.
That's actually a good idea.
You could call it the Christmas Plando. Everything's just lit up like a Christmas tree.
Maybe even get Toaster to make the glow like 3 times bigger. Gunert grabbing this? No.
I'm not sure where
the scan. Maybe the scan didn't say what it was.
So Gunner should be able to process this quite easily, in a sense, and know that Flagra is the only remaining element. So ghosts do not go in logic with X-ray. You do not require ghosts, X-ray for ghosts. They are in logic as soon as you have Spider and Supers.
Yeah, you probably need charge beam, but given that we start with it, that's not a consideration for these settings.
Yeah. Though it looks like it's a missile on Plant.
Wow. Progression on
So
Ghost.
Ghosts.
Relatively uncommon.
Yeah.
Oh, true. Yeah, can't get the Ghost without charge anyways. Logically anyways.
Yeah. At least in these settings, I think once you start messing around in the intermediate bracket, then Supers does not become a requirement to get to Ghosts. And you don't need charge for them, you just chuck a bunch of lemons at them.
Yeah, that's a lot of lemons. About 100 per, something like that. That's a lot.
Fun on your fingers as well when you just start throwing lemons repeatedly.
Unfortunately, with charge and supers, you make pretty quick work of this. Now Gunner is going to make the magma pool check here.
Yep. So I think Gunner is doing that process I was talking about earlier on, seeing that boost could be on Plant, boost leading to power bombs, power bomb could lead to progression, and no, not today. So Plant does not have boost then, potentially. Oh dear.
I mean, at least we don't have to hunt for it, but that's rude.
It means progression is Chozo Ice Temple?
Yeah, I don't think anywhere else opened up with that.
Yeah,
Yikes.
I think this is an immediate straight back to Findrana. There's no point doing... Well, you could do the remainder of Chozo, but Dino at least has more information available to work with.
So the plasma does give Dino another power bomb in Ice Ruins West, so that's going to be pretty nice to be able to pick up. Because I assume whatever we find there, we're going to be heading back that way, because it still has to be like ice or thermal there.
Yeah. Oh, that was an extremely darkened Metroid that Dino had to turn back and look at it and say, wait, was that a visor name?
Yeah, the sort of inheriting of the local color palettes, making all the Metroids look different, is kind of interesting.
There's something weird about the Metroids, because I don't think it's just straight up inheriting the local palettes, because they do start to change in some locations.
Oh,
So I've seen that one be green sometimes. I've seen it be like kind of a darkened black, kind of grey. The one in Magma Pool doesn't always turn out magenta, which is surprising. Right, so Dino going to get the letdown that this is just a missile.
so yeah. So here's the tough call for Dino. It's like, so you got this plasma, so you know Chozo Ice Temple is like a logically newly accessible check, but you still do have a bunch of stuff in Fark Chozo you haven't cleared. So can you really justify leaving Chozo just for the one check? Seems like
Looks
the answer
like it.
might be yes.
Or it might be just be going for the restock and the power bomb.
I see.
Now the downside is that Dino has artifacts still to collect. So the furnace
true.
artifact is probably what Dino is routing towards here. So I think this will put Gunert back just in the lead, because when Gunert finishes and picks up Plasma, Gunert will have done all of these checks already.
Yeah, gunert will only have one check in logic, so we'll know exactly where he needs to go.
Though it is possible that with it being Flagra, with it being ghosts, if Dino does just book it straight to the artifact, they could sync up again. If Dino decides to skip Zoid, knowing that Zoid was an E-tank,
I
could
think it's
decide to risk.
I think it's really hard to skip any checks here. You have so few options for where Ice Beam is. Skipping anything at this point and then heading to Fendrana if you're wrong is such a huge time loss.
Yeah. But that's the type of risks that sometimes may need to be made.
Yeah.
Depending on where Dino's headspace is, does Dino think that he is behind? It might be one of those things where he just goes, I've seen half of Zoid, let's not do the rest.
Alright, having a quick think there, looks like. Can this be anything but ghosts? Let's see, do we go back to Zoid or not? Yeah, looks like he... Well, no. This is too early to tell them, right? No. Okay.
Skipping. I like this. Going for the risk. Aiming straight for the artifact by the looks of it. Probably will check at least crossway and antechamber and then save warp out and then just go straight down. Because what the... Grabbing this artifact, save warping back to landing site gives Dino the option of grabbing the Arbor Chamber artifact with the plasma. So at least it routes kind of cleanly to catch back up. And at that point, the two of them may sync up, alright, a few rooms apart, but they'll be on the same path at that point.
Yeah, it depends on if Dino presses forward to check Vanilla Ice here or not. Given that he's already skipped Zoid, maybe we'll be opting to believe that it's not going to be an Ice and Farchozo. It's like when you're already here, sometimes it feels like you might as well go to those couple more rooms, even though all the others is pretty slow. Yeah, gunert is almost certainly heading straight for Ice Temple.
I think that's all gunert really has left at this stage. Yep, so Dino is just going to make the safety check of the antechamber.
Yeah, I think this is reasonable to do. It's really kind of like 50-50. Well, you have three checks, I guess. You have behind Zoid, you have this, and you have Chozo Ice Temple. Theoretically, Chozo Ice Temple is weighted heavier than the other two.
Yep.
Well, do you even know that? Blogger got put into logic so early that actually it could well be that Plasma Beam was placed earlier.
With bombs being in Fendrana, the Plasma Beam does not necessarily open any additional weighted checks because bombs lead to plasma. So by the time plasma gets placed, you've seen Talon, Chozo, Magmar, and Fendrana in the logical placement.
Actually, no. You just convinced me that the plasma check is heavier weighted because Vanilla Ice and Flagra both came into logic with bombs, and plasma came into logic with bombs as well. So the fact that plasma is one step beyond. should mean that
Ah.
plasma check is heavier weighted. Assuming, of course, that it actually placed items in that order. Sometimes it looks like it placed items in a certain order, but it just happened to put stuff behind or earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ice Temple could be Ice Beam, in which case it gives us most of the seed, or it could be Thermal, which gives us exactly Thardus. I don't think X-Ray opens anything for us we haven't seen. Same with Boost. And yeah, we can switch the auto back to gunert here. Has regained the lead. Yeah, I don't blame Dino at all for finishing out these Chozo checks, although we knew that they were not going to pay off. I think it was pretty reasonable to clear them out given the volume. And there is our Ice Beam. So that opens the world pretty wide open to us. Our artifacts are in mines, at least the remaining 4. That's always tempting to head towards. Ice Beam does also put those power bombs in play now, because we can do labs in reverse.
Yeah, so the world is now open at this point.
Yeah, this looks like a Far Magmore play. Not sure if Gunert's going to do Farfen or Mines first. Meanwhile, Dinopony picks up the Arbor Chamber, not needing to do the out of bounds, thanks to the Plasma Beam.
So this is a bit of a difficult one from kind of my strategy, because I would probably be taking myself straight to mines at this stage, but because you know you hard require phase on for PMT, it is not the easiest decision to make.
Yeah, it's tough, especially not having X-Ray, because if you don't have X-Ray, you're not going to find it in lower mines, because it's required to get through MQA, and then that means you can't push through OP and open up the shortcut back to Phase on Mining Tunnel for later. So unless you really do find it right down there, you're going to force yourself to go through lower mines twice.
Yeah. Could route through... You could do the back of Findrana first, clear all of that off, hope you get your X-ray visor.
Yeah, I think I would be pretty tempted to make the Farfen loop here.
You also... Actually, no, you don't have Frigate because we don't have Thermal for that, so that's not even in Logic yet.
I think it is in Logic, because we can get you could climb from back mines to front. Yeah, reverse. Yeah, we have seen a couple thermal visors in Frigate before. That's always a fun place to find it. Or not find it, usually. And just see it in credits.
Hydro Access Tunnel, great place.
Right, looks like we will see the Findrana play first. I think that's pretty reasonable.
At least you've got the save station here as well, so if you end up at the back of Far Findrana, you could have done the save reset and just head straight into mines. Dino does have the interesting option of being able to route through Thardus if they wanted. You could do the Thardus skip and they would basically kind of almost sync up with each other.
Yeah, that's actually quite a time save. Especially, yeah, without having boost to do plasma processing, I think that route is definitely faster if you're competent in being able to pull off the trick. And even if you're not, I mean, it's slow, but it is still a check.
You have a power bomb now.
We have seen
You have
phase
a,
on Thardas.
yeah, you've got power bomb now. You've got plasma, so the fight's not as bad as it was earlier on. Right, so entering into Frost Cave looks like a missile.
Now, zooming through there. Hunter Metroid didn't even have time to attack.
Probably didn't even know there was a person there.
Ooh, nice little instant unmorph there.
Like to see them.
And there's our ice beam for Dino. Recheck artifact hints, figure out the route from here. And yep, all mines.
Another wee tank. Gives us some comfort. I think I've got to the stage where I prefer having at least 4 E-tanks minimum, because 3 E-tanks is always sketchy for final bosses.
Yeah, I'll do them with 3, but I would prefer to have 4 or more.
3 with visors, 4 without.
Yeah,
I think is my
that's reasonable.
threshold.
Yeah. And Dino headed back into Magmor as well, so probably going to make the same route here, although can diverge once we get to Workstation. I actually don't know. Did Dino check Warrior Shrine and Upper Fiber Shore? Maybe needs to do these right now.
I believe they did.
Yeah, just let me get.
So it looks like Dino is making the same potential play, but we could again see some diversion where Dino decides to just go straight into the back of mines instead.
Yeah, nothing of interest here in Farfan. So if Dino does skip that loop, this tightens up. It's quite a long walk, though. I'm a little surprised neither Rando went for the third skip.
Yeah, the third skip is surprisingly a lot easier than I originally thought it was. I was just like, my placement was bad when I was originally practicing it.
Yeah, for me it's just like the pressure of like knowing that if I fail, it's a huge time loss that makes me always do a really bad dash.
Yep, so gunert has found nothing. Question here is, does gunert want to do the rock just to get it completely out? Because that way you would have Findrana completely clear. It looks like he's passing it up.
So yeah, soon we'll see upper mines, maybe dip into Life Grove area or lower. Because right now we don't even have... Actually, yeah, dipping down even into Vent Shaft is a point of no return for us. Gonna have to save warp out.
Yeah.
We don't have boost to get up, and we don't have X-ray to go through. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if we do upper mines first. Need to get elite research anyways. Although if it's the upper item, that's a little tedious without boost ball.
I'm going to call Boost Ball in Boombox.
Boost box?
Boost Box. Gunner didn't go back for main PBs. No.
Actually, yeah, that wouldn't have taken that long, honestly.
While you were in the area, it kind of seems just like a nice, easy pickup. Yeah, it looks like Dino is just retracing Gunert's steps here. But Dino may be
Is
going
going to
for
go
the power
back for power
bombs.
bombs. Yep.
This alone could be like a nice swaying check.
Yeah, like even in this room, Gunner is going to suffer a bit for lack of power bombs. Can't peek this item without X-ray, and is now reliant on the drop system. And if you don't get one, you got to climb all the way out of here.
Yep. And now, what is behind?
Is that Phazon suit?
No, I think it's just a Metroid. I hope it's a Metroid.
I'm going to take a look at a clip there.
Yeah, I think it was a Cyan Notroid. Or close enough to it. But Dino getting bullied by the pirates?
Okay, yeah, just the Metroid there. Ooh. Oh, it did get a drop, okay.
To be honest, the PCA item is like when you're dipping in and getting your feet burnt off by the Phazon, you kind of do a quick visual check and run away.
Wow, Gunner going for vent shift? Oh, it just wants to drop, maybe. Oh, I didn't realize those boxes were that likely to drop PVs.
Yeah.
I don't like this. I do not like going into vent shaft here.
I personally would be comfortable with it.
Okay, just trying to
just
peek
do
it
the
and
visual.
leave.
Yeah. Like, I would be okay in the sense that I would do, like, all the way to the back of mines, save warp out, and then route through frigate without the visor. I would be
I guess that could
cheeky
be
enough
fine.
to do that.
Yep.
But I think while you're in mines, doing upper first is the right decision. I don't even like the peak because you can just fall in by mistake.
So yeah, without boost, we'll have to go out to Quarry and do the upper lab loop forwards. Unless it happens right here in Vanilla Grapple.
One of the two rooms in this game that I much prefer having grapple beam.
Yeah, that jump is not terribly fun. Just to me. But we'll take it.
Now we need to go out main quarry side. So we don't have boost to boost clip into like research. What if Boost Ball was just sitting in Great Tree Chamber?
Oof. Yeah, that's not a great spot for it. Could also be in Frigate.
Could be in Frigate. Never considered doing the dash that way. I've always done it the weird awkward way. Dashing
Yeah,
off
that's pretty
the
good.
turrets and going under. Kabam! Just a missile.
Just a missile.
So we've got 3 checks here in the upper mines available to us. We've got the security access, we've got storage depot A, and then we've got the elite pirate themselves, the Phazon elite.
And yes, I do believe Great Tree Chamber does logically require X-ray.
Never considered that. That could be our X-ray. And the story's deep away, which means lower mines is the potential next play.
Yeah, if I found X-ray here, then I'm pretty comfortable heading back to lower mines after this.
Arbor Chamber is finally in logic, if it is. Like this, Gunert's going to go in and do the phase on Elite first, and then come back for that.
Yep, unless boost is exactly here, then it saves time.
I am not sure on who generated the seeds. I'm blaming Loki.
Oh no, the Wave Buster wasn't like a required pickup, so I'm gonna say it probably wasn't a Loki seed.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, that is just rude. Well, at least the artifact's obtainable now.
Yep, without doing a really tedious spinner minute. What a boost ball location. At least we have there for Ridley now, too. I didn't know you could just beat the gates. Huh. And yep, we are in a Phazon hunt. I imagine Gunert will turn around after this to head for that visor.
Yeah. Especially knowing that you need X-ray logically to progress into mines, I think Gunert should be picking it up as a precaution in case they need to go to OP for Vanilla Phazon, maybe.
That's to deal with the lot of beam pirates.
It's the nice ones. The ice pirates are not too much of an issue. It's the wave that usually get in the way.
Alright, which is it going to be? X-ray, nice.
The one you want. So, difficult decision here. Gunner may be looking to do Life Grove and Frigate because they are both in logic. Because one of the horrible decisions to make is doing lower mines. Not getting Phazon, meaning PMT cannot be collected, and then having to come back for it.
I don't hate that route. So you do Life Grove, reverse Frigate, climb up Overgrown Cavern, do your 2 Holy Others checks, and then head back to mines.
Yeah.
Through Life Grove area.
So it's a nice wee cyclable route.
Yeah.
It's very exhaustive.
Yep. Pretty conservative, but does mean you're almost certainly not going to have to do that backtrack. In fact, at that point, I think that is pretty much full clearing everything.
I think the only thing that hasn't been touched would be Thardis.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens here. Could this be another Phazon just chilling in Overgrown Cavern?
Nope, just some energy.
Gunner going for some swag bomb jumps at Lifebro Tunnel.
Doesn't get them, but fortunately the tunnel did decide to cooperate, at least so far. Actually, yep, tunnel being pretty cooperative today.
Yeah, very nice tunnel. Life Grove not having anything too drastic unless this final check is something decent. Just a collection of missiles.
And some nothings. Yeah, do you turn around or do you head to Frigate?
I definitely like doing the frigate play at this point. Like, you've came up the elevator. I think it's just, it neatly ties in. Unless Gunnert's wanting to do it the other route, I guess.
A bit unusual. Seems like doing it in this order means you're gonna want to do forward Frigate, which is slow, unless you're just gonna skip Frigate.
Gunnert didn't save in main quarry, so doesn't have the benefit of save warping back. And for this is all bust.
Yeah, that might have been a good save spot there.
So Dino is immediately grabbing X-Ray.
And gonna have to fight the 3 ghosts, having used the wave slot earlier.
So
It's not too late for a curse. We could see Thermal on OP for Phazon on Thardus.
oh, that'd be horrible. That would be a all bosses receipt at that
Yep.
point. Yeah, Dino getting bullied by the pirates here. This is where I'd much prefer just dropping into a ball and power bombing them all away.
Yeah, I used to try to save time in that room by not fighting the pirates, and then realized I was usually costing myself time and health.
Yeah. So Dino about to get boost ball, pick up the artifact. Question then comes in is whether Dino will push into lower mines and bank on Phazon being down there, or will Dino follow Gunnert's steps again?
Yeah, this might be the honestly final decision that really impacts the race here. I think Gunnert is just too far ahead if Dino keeps following
Yeah.
the same route. But heading straight into lower mines would put Dino ahead if the Phazon suit is there. Oh, getting bullied by these pirates. I hate this jump. I'm so bad at this jump. I don't understand.
So this jump is a bit weird. I think if you press L at any point in time in the air, you don't get the standable. And I think that's what determines. Even though it isn't a slope, I think pressing L anywhere on that just will lose you all your traction. So looks like Dino is setting up to actually head back into lower mines here with that laser.
Yeah, interesting.
So this could
Could be. I guess even if you wanted to head out main quarry, this might be a quicker. Oh, nearly
Shades of
repeating
Diggle.
yeah. Luckily, notices.
I believe if you do a half press L on that jump towards the artifact, towards the standable, you're okay. But even still, like I tried to avoid using L at all on that.
Yeah, alright, we're gonna see lower mines. So, unless it's in Frigate, Dino has just reclaimed the lead, I believe.
Yeah. Overgrown cavern, nothing too interesting there. I can't even say that word, Asda.
First we can talk
So,
about multi-wheels, it's pretty good.
so yeah, we're in Frigate. We're salting our feet, I guess. I don't know. Gunert doing this obviously going forward without thermal. This is all logically available because of the reverse aspect of it.
Much as I wish. It's a good accent. Yeah, not Carter Freight. 2 more checks here that could bail Gunner out. Although I guess honestly, if it's on Thardis, Gunner's still probably in decent shape here too.
Yeah. Just a missile. On the drone. In the maze.
Not
Dino
here
killing
either.
the drone.
Oh, that's interesting.
You can completely bypass this fight, even if you activate the drone, you can choose to just walk past it.
Yep, don't do it in vanilla, but in Rando it is fine.
Dino may be doing this for the save station, worst case scenario. So that if they go all the way to, say, Omega Pirates, nothing there, they can just save reset, warp all the way back, and then warp to start and do your frigate plays and stuff.
Honestly, I don't understand this at all. I don't see any reason to need this save station, unless he's wanting like a health refill or something. Or maybe just isn't aware of the crash protection.
Yeah.
Surely he's not save warp. Oh, is he going to save here, save warp, do the rest of the checks, and then come back here last? Maybe that's this play.
I don't like that. I think once you're committed down here, I would much rather just keep going. Yeah.
I was actually going to say I like that play, but it would have been wrong. But I actually think that's pretty smart. Saves you you get down here without having to leave mines, and then
yeah,
that way you know you're not going to have to double dip this.
I would much rather just do all of this in one go and just exhaust it and then go, right, yeah, I know what I need. Because what you could do is do the exact same thing but at MQB. You can get to MQB, you can save warp out. Actually, no, that wouldn't even do it. Yeah. Unless you wanted to not do Omega Pirate, I guess.
Oh yeah, that late boost ball makes plasma processing a pretty strong check here.
Yeah, that is a good point.
So yeah, I like that route. If Dino sticks to that, kill OP if you don't find Phazon, climb up, do plasma processing, do Thardis. But he may also be tempted by the relative density of checks in Parchozo and Life Grove and Frigate that are all kind of right there. If he just takes a save warp from MQB after OP.
Now the benefit here is that Dino does have the power bomb collection, so mines is not going to be as annoying.
So many checks do we have here that aren't artifacts?
So
Well,
we
a few.
have Omega Pirate, MQB, Fungal Hall Access was an artifact, so Fungal Hall is an item, I believe.
Yeah, on hobby. So we have a
Yeah.
few chances here.
And this has ultimately put Dino a good few rooms ahead. If Phazon is down here, then Dino will have pulled ahead when previously has just been lagging behind Gunner. But if we do not find Phazon down here, then Dino has a lot of options to decide between.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where he goes after this. If Phazon isn't just freely available here.
I think at least Dino should do the plasma processing after a Mega Pirate check, in worst case scenario.
I don't know. I guess it's probably a little faster to do it then, but it's like not
Because all you're
so
doing is
bad
you're
to save warp like at some point and do root cave to there to Thardis.
because the thing is, if we do a Mega Pirate, we come out the back at PPC, go straight up into plasma processing, and then into Thardis, and just exhaust those checks. And then you can save warp at the either of the two Thardis elevators, or save stations on either side, and then do your frigate and your remaining Chozo checks that Dino would have.
Gosh, where is our thermal visor? Is that on OP? I think it has to be on OP. Oh, it could be in MQB still.
Could be an MQB, could still be on Thardis, as you said earlier.
Thermal can't though.
Thermal can.
I think
So
we have to
thermal-
find thermal in one of these next couple rooms here. I think we've checked like everywhere else in the game. It could be plasma processing, I guess.
Thermal could be plasma processing, yeah. Oh, nice save.
Huh.
Ooh.
Is Phazon suit vanilla?
Is this turning into an any percent run?
I know, right?
Get a Mega Pirate, get Phazon, go back for PMT Artifact?
Plenty of missiles here for this OP fight.
Should make quick work of them.
Yeah, it is interesting that the Omega Pirates is actually the quickest of the major bosses to kill. Ooh, not sitting between the pools. Interesting.
Yeah.
No, I guess was a little off-centered, so didn't know that it was going to spawn there.
At least that's going for the Super Strata, which is nice.
Yep, I find this to be one of the more consistent ways to get this one cycle. And gets it.
Nicely done. So, ladies and gentlemen, today, do we have in the top 8 winners bracket semi-finals a vanilla Phazon suit? It's bubbling. It's bubbling. It looks like it. It looks like it.
Certainly does. And oh my god. Wowie.
That's so good.
So Dino is in the lead now, and that is our go mode. The 1 hour
Yep.
39-minute mark. Quite a long seat here. We cleared almost every check in the game. Only things we haven't seen are plasma processing and TARDIS.
Oh, that's a silly one indeed.
Yeah, I feel like both runners have to be feeling kind of behind now, just with the sheer number of checks that have been done.
Now, I wouldn't say the nails are in the coffin completely. Final bosses can be tricky, but Dino has at least a kind of fair chunk of distance here.
Yep, no, certainly not over yet, but Gunner will have his work cut out for him here.
Yeah. This is a Dino's race to lose situation.
Actually, gonna be a nice C-tank here for Gunner. Free health refill, no need to take the save. Otherwise, we're going to have to decide if you want him to do OP on only 2 E-tanks of remaining health.
Dino does also have the PB benefits as well.
That's true, yep.
So Essence is going to be less of a nuisance.
Although at least with a visor, it usually doesn't take too many pools to get through it. It's really in those visorless fights that you can end up needing a lot of power bombs if that fight goes long. As I'm sure you're aware.
Oh, don't even get me. I still need to go back and time that Essence fight from our race, because it personally felt like 10 minutes because I took it so slow.
Yeah, getting pool skipped in a visorless fight on the visible phase is just atrocious. And yeah, I agree, Esder. I like coming down here early, and so finding face on down here is usually good, but it is not nearly as nice when PMT is floating above your head. Interesting strat from Gunert here. That didn't seem like a fully charged plasma shot. I wonder if this is like a 4-round one cycle.
Dino taking the,
Yeah, looks
the
like
save. Going for shit dash again, and nicely gets it second time.
Gunner almost getting a Mr. President moment there. Like onto a beam pirate.
And we're starting the metal chicken fight.
Yep, fortunately with that boost ball in hand, we'll be able to skip most of the second phase of this fight once Ridley is done flying around here.
Ridley is allergic to going fast. Takes something in the region of, what is it, 500,000 per frame or something damage wise?
I think it's 50,000, but that is still a casual like 1,000 charged power beam shots per second, or per frame actually.
Yeah, like that final decision that Dino made at the back end of this seed has paid off for all of the kind of the other decisions that Dino made throughout. Oh, a quick dash from Ridley. There we go.
It's crazy. You think back to stuff like, if Dino didn't skip Zoid the second time, how much closer this race is.
Yeah. So Dino has finished his starter meal of poultry. Is moving on to some crab and meat shortly, taking a wee break between meals. It is kind of weird to go to like a restaurant and have like chicken for your starter, to then move on to seafood for your mains. It's a bit unusual, but here we are. This is Talon 4.
Yeah, just have to
Completely,
brush your teeth between meals, cleanse your
yeah.
palate.
Maybe take a mint in between just to kind of freshen up. So I think the flavour clash would be a little unusual. Dino getting crater climb nicely first time. No bullying.
Don't worry about us. We're just. It's been a long seed.
So yeah, final bosses, you have Ridley as a chicken, Exo as crab, and then you have Squid for essence. So you have a chicken starter, and then your mains are seafood. So supers being the very first item that we got in this game will make this fight infinitely easier.
Yeah, it is probably the only beam combo we're likely to see here. Given that flamethrower is not very good.
Wait, what? How can you say that about my Flammenwerfer?
I know.
Though, interesting fact, for some silly reason, the flamethrower does deal damage to the power phase of Exo.
Yep, it can be actually an okay fallback against power phase if you're lacking super missiles and have plenty of ammo.
The problem with flamethrower is its actual range is terrible. You need to basically be in Exo's face. That was a nice wee super.
And it was showing us some nice snipes in the midair there for Ridley. Not that it will save any time at all with the boost ball. But is a good strat to be able to know if you don't have a boost. A nice snipe there as well.
So we know that Thardus cannot have had thermal visor. I think thermal had to be in plasma processing. Because Randovania treats the visors as being mandatory requirements for the final bosses on beginner settings. So they had to be logically accessible. So thermal does not lock itself. So Dino is going for some snipes when Exo is doing some kind of run-bys. It's a good any percent strategy to just inch in extra bits of damage. Speeds up the phases. Gunner has finished his starter. Dino is almost at Subchamber 4. Will Gunner get bullied by Jack and Jill? Or is Gunner going to take this the easy way? Yep, going to go vanilla, climb the dentist's office.
Huh, I'm a little surprised.
I've actually noticed this when looking back at one of Gunner's previous races in the top 8. There was a few like movement or kind of room strategies that I thought Gunner knew, but decided to kind of go the kind of the vanilla routes as such.
Yeah, that could definitely happen. I mean, there's a number of rooms that I haven't really learned the proper methods of doing, so I just do kind of weird stuff. A lot of times, the like fast strats to climb rooms are something you're not really gonna encounter on your own unless you're watching someone.
Yeah. And there we go. That is Dino finishing his crustacean meal. Crab is done. Moving on to squid. When it comes to essence, do you think it's more of a kind of squid like palette? Because you're not just getting squid, you're getting like jellyfish in between it as well. More like a seafood buffet.
Yeah.
Didn't know how to climb Ruined Courtyard properly until we watched round 1 matches. Ruined Courtyard is a bit of a weird one, yeah. I can't remember who it was. Somebody in one of the races, someone done a Ruined Courtyard climb that I'd never seen before. Which I was like, oh, didn't even know that was standable by this kind of specific object on the wall. Oh, Dino is going for some pull cancels. And just letting it burst out. I was yourself, Asda. Right, so when it comes to essence, when you have one visor and are missing one, you always want to be missing the thermal in that situation, because at least the thermal phase is a lot easier to kind of manage and work with.
Yep, with knowing that it will always try to teleport behind you, you can usually turn around and get a shot in here. Also, having X-ray means you have visibility on the 4th pool in case you don't get a 3 pool, rather than having to wait to 5, which you might have to sometimes with only having thermal.
Gunner in subchamber 2.
So I think if I'm Dinopony here, I just go for attack cancels now. I don't think you're going to be able to get the pool cancels here. I think it hit too much health.
With perfect pull cancels, you can do half a health bar.
Yeah, it looked like it had a little more than half to me.
Yeah. So yeah, one more pull. We've got X-ray, so it's a case of unloading the entire chamber. This race has been surprisingly close to a degree. They were very much Dino was trailing, obviously, Gunner on a lot of kind of decisions. And it was just that one final decision making that kind of mattered. And that is the way of Rando. So Dino has finished with a racetime.gg of 1:52.40, and Gunert has took the forfeit. He has dumped. So GG to Dino.
Yeah, we'll get those invites out to them. And yeah, here's Gunert. GG's.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're a little quiet.
Okay, one sec. For some reason my mic's been all over the place. That should be better. Okay, yeah, that was something.
Yeah, really rude. Pretty much from like start to finish, the progression was just really hard to find. The bombs was particularly terrible, with it coming down to 3 checks that were all super far away from each other.
Yeah, no, this seed was full of all sorts of risk-taking scenarios. All of the correct ones were terrible.
And we're joined as well by Dinopony. Welcome. GG's,
Hi,
congrats.
And
GG.
GG's. Oof.
Thank you.
So this was quite the interesting race to kind of watch back, in the sense that the early decision making was kind of on par with each other up until the bombs part. Bombs, as Baha was saying, were you at one stage had 3 options that were so far away from each other, and making the right or wrong decision would have cost, and that kind of is where the diversion kind of kicked in a bit. Because it ended up with, like, Dino, you started lagging behind Gunner for those kind of early checks. You were both on the same route for the majority of it. Just a little bit kind of lagging behind up until one very key decision that was made towards the back end of the race.
And yeah, that was heading straight into lower mines after clearing upper. So Gunner,
The same thing as last time. I choose not to do it and I get wrecked, like versus Dino.
Yeah.
Feels kind of bad, not gonna lie, but it happens.
Yeah, Rando gonna Rando. It's a tough call, because heading down there with the Phazon mining tunnel artifact is so bad.
Yeah.
Because it's so nice to head down there, because Phazon is often down there, but when you don't have it, it's tough to want to commit to going down there.
Also, you didn't have X-ray, so you actually had to go to upper mines and then go back down to lower mines.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So that just made it even worse.
Especially with Boost Ball being where it was as well, because so much opened up in the vicinity of Boost in Elite Research, because Gunner took Boost straight into Life Grove at that point in time, and then started cleaning up some of the checks in that kind of area, whereas Dino just decided to take the vent shaft route and go forward all the way down.
Yeah, from the moment I found the X-ray, I knew I could do the whole lower mines route, so I was more confident on the fact that I might actually find Phazon suit. That wasn't guaranteed at all, but there was a slight chance, and I was lucky on that, so...
Yeah, my last few checks were all clumped around Life Grove, and then if OP didn't have Phazon, I could have gone to Plasma Processing and then Thardus, and then I would have been done. So that's kind of why I went up, because I wanted to clear everything out first. But
yeah. It always feels bad when there is an artifact in Phazon mining tunnel, because you don't want to go to lower mines, because you know that if you don't have the Phazon suit there, you have to come back after. And that's very upsetting.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's.
And I think that was literally the decision that kind of made it, is I think Gunner did not want to do that, did not want to have to double dip lower mines at all.
Yeah, see, so I could not tell where I was relative to Dino, because this seed obviously was just all over the place. So it was really hard to tell if I was anywhere close to him to begin with. So I just opted for the safer option this time.
Yeah, I was feeling behind, honestly, so that's why I took very risky route at the end, but that finished by paying off. They happened to be working, but honestly, it could have worked very badly, and I could have just had to go to Life Grove after that and come back, or Plasma Processing, or wherever it could have been. But yeah.
Yeah, I think it was a good risk to take, and yeah, paid off this time.
We got a Ghosts seed. I think it's been a while since we had one of those in the tournament.
Yeah, both of you put off
the
found that plasma beam is pretty much your last check.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were a couple decisions we could have made that could have changed a lot of this. Because if you had gone straight from bombs to full clear Chozo, including Flagra, you would have had your plasma beam immediately. And then that would have allowed you to get your ice beam before going to Fendrana, and then you could have just cleared Fendrana and then gotten straight to mines, which would have made things a lot cleaner. But
this is the kind of seed where if you know where the items are, you can do it like twice as fast.
Oh yeah,
Because
this could easily be like sub hour or sub 130 at the very least.
Yeah. The thing that it was kind of interesting in the fact that with supers being the first item given, I was personally surprised that no one decided to do the flagger as soon as possible, because it kind of felt that seeing supers and then seeing spider ball so quickly together was like, we were kind of joking as we saw that kind of happen, saying, oh, this could be a flagger seed, and then it just resulting in like two very last checked kind of plasmas there.
Yeah, so the problem here, right, is so you have supers, which are just kind of there, but you also had your spider ball, your wave beam, and your space jump, which were obviously meant to go get your bombs. So yeah, in retrospect, supers were kind of pointing towards Flagra, but the problem is everything else that you needed for backwards Flagra was already pointing towards bombs.
Yeah.
So it's hard to really discern if supers really meant anything or if they were just there because they were.
Yeah, true. And then so many bomb checks open up as well with bombs by itself.
Yeah.
One of the other things that we were kind of commenting on Baha brought up was in the early part of the seeds, Dino had done the Zoid check for bombs, looking for vanilla bombs. Saw the E-tank, but couldn't see what was behind.
Yeah.
Reset, and then that was kind of one of the reasons as to why Dino maybe kind of lagged in the early game. But in the later game, after picking up Plasma, Dino chose to clear Chozo as much as possible to get the artifact. It is possible that having skipped Zoid the second time might have been an equatable amount of time difference between the two of you.
I guess it's hard to say. I'm sure we were both all over the place. So you could probably make 1,000 different. Oh, if I had done this instead of this, then that equates to something that Dino did. I'm sure.
Yeah, and I chose when I did Chozo back after getting plasma and stuff, I chose not to do Zoid once again to see. I could have done Zoid once again to see what was behind the bomb wall, but I was still missing ice, but I thought to myself that it was too slow and I was feeling behind, so I went way forward and just told myself, well, if it's there, I'm unlucky, but that's the way it is.
Yeah, honestly, the whole time. So the fact that bombs are right next to Thardus made it really tempting to do Thardus right away. I'm sure you guys saw me hesitate for a few seconds. The whole time, I was really worried what was going to end up happening was Flogger was going to have Thermal, and then Thardus was going to have the progression. And then all through the second half of the seed, I was constantly worried that it was just going to turn out you just had to find Thermal, and then Thardus had Phazon Suit the entire time. But no, I'm pretty sure if I'm reading the seed correctly, Thermal was in plasma processing, and then Thardus had Ice Spreader, I believe.
That is correct. Yep.
Cool. So, would have been nice to get, but yeah, I'm glad I didn't end up caving in on that, I guess.
Yeah, plasma processing was a tricky spot too for a potential Phazon Suit, given that boost ball was so late.
Yeah.
And then that check was so out of the way by the time you got it.
Yeah, well, that was another reason I didn't do the lore mines, because, like I said, I could have routed plasma processing in immediately after OP. So, in terms of generic routing without knowing what I'm doing, I felt like that was the better play, but obviously didn't pan out.
Yeah, it was a tough seed to route well because everything was in really cursed spots. So
yeah, the progression opened the map up in a really broken way, so there was a lot of back and forth to check everything.
Yeah, it was a really bad bombs location, and it was bad too. Yeah.
So, looking at the bracket, what this will do is Dino is moving into the winner's side finals. So GG to Dino on that side of things. Gunert will be dropping down into the losers finals bracket, and it'll either be myself or Interslice. who'll be kind of moving up to face you.
I believe we'll be fighting for third place, if I recall correctly.
I believe so. I think that's how it works. Yeah.
Yeah.
So me and Interslice haven't booked in yet, so it should be happening probably more towards the weekend. And then we'll be moving into basically the final brackets of next week. So it should be exciting. We're almost finished with the tournament.
Yeah. And I just want to say, even if I lose my next match, I'm perfectly satisfied getting third. Like I've done way better than I expected to with this tournament. So I'm happy regardless what happens.
Awesome. Yeah. No, you've played really well, as I can personally attest to.
I suppose.
Me too.
I suppose.
Like, if I somehow make a miracle and beat Interslice on my third time facing him in the tournament, I then have to go against yourself, Gunner, who you also beat me in Swiss. So
Yeah.
it's not looking easy for me at all.
I don't know. Just do the Lower Mines play. That's 2 of my 3 losses have been because I didn't go to Lower Mines. Of course, 2 of them have also been against Dino, but still. Lower Mines is just my bane, I guess.
So, any final comments?
No, I think
Well,
I'm good.
Thank you for commentating the race. It's very
Shoutouts
nice
to
of you.
Yeah, shoutouts to both of you and to Gallup for
And Gallup for the tracking, yeah.
yes.
And thanks to everybody, obviously, for showing up and watching the race. Hope you guys had a fun time watching this very back and forth, bounce around the world type of seed. And finally, a vanilla phase on, which was quite amusing for the viewership side of things.
Yeah, and if you're so be sure to follow everybody if you're interested in trying out the randomizer yourself. Link to the Discord is in there as well. Community can help you get set up with that. It's a good time.
And yeah, I think that's us. So we're gonna wrap up here.
Keep an eye out
GG's.
for
Best of luck.
PPCB Interslice, and yeah, GG's.
Thank you, GG, to you as well, and good luck on the loser bracket.
I'll try my best. It's gonna be hard.
Maybe
So-
we'll see again.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Just remember, Lower Mines. That's all you gotta do, I guess.
But yeah,
All right.
everybody, have a good one. Stay safe, and we'll be seeing you next mission. Bye bye.
Peace.
Bye, everyone.
I know.